American healthcare market, a $3 trillion opportunity. The scale of the U.S. healthcare expenditure. The global healthcare landscape is vast, but one market stands out dramatically in its scale of expenditure: the United States. Here's a summary of the U.S. healthcare market in 2025. Key numbers, trends, and strategic implications. Market size and segments. The revenue of the U.S. healthcare providers market, hospitals, clinics, ambulatory services, is projected at $3.5 trillion in 2025. The broader U.S. healthcare market, all services plus payers plus pharma plus technology, is estimated to reach around $4.9 trillion in 2025. The U.S. healthcare IT market is forecast at about $182 billion in 2025, with strong growth ahead. The U.S. AI and healthcare segment is estimated at $12 billion in 2025. Key trends and drivers. Cost pressures remain intense because of inflation, labor shortages, shifting payer mixes, more Medicare or Medicaid, and reimbursement growth. Delivery model shifts. More care is moving out of acute hospital settings, non-acute, ambulatory, home care, as providers and payers seek efficiency. Technology and data are becoming more central. Healthcare IT, analytics, AI, digital health are growth areas as systems try to do more with less and manage chronic disease burden. Aging population plus chronic disease prevalence drives demand for care, but also creates cost and operational stress. Regulatory and policy uncertainty, payer mix shifts, coverage issues, and changing rules, drug pricing, reimbursement, are shaping strategic risk. With a staggering annual healthcare spend of over $3 trillion, the U.S. market represents an unparalleled opportunity for international manufacturers of medical devices, personal protective equipment, PPE, and over-the-counter OTC drug products and cosmetics. To put this colossal figure into perspective, this single-country expenditure surpasses the combined healthcare spending of 18 other major economies, including China, Japan, Germany, India, the United Kingdom, Italy, Brazil, Canada, Russia, South Korea, Spain, Australia, Mexico, Indonesia, the Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Switzerland, which collectively spend an estimated $3.5 trillion. This extreme differential highlights the immense financial power and potential profitability contained within the U.S. healthcare system, making it an economically compelling destination for export. Strategic implications. For providers, margin pressure is real. Smaller hospital systems may face consolidation pressure or may need to shift to value-based care and non-acute channels to stay competitive. For tech and digital health firms, excellent opportunity exists in helping providers and payers with IT, analytics, workflow automation, remote care. With the healthcare IT market growing fast, it's a sector to watch. For policy and regulators, the challenge remains balancing access, cost, and quality, the iron triangle of healthcare. With spending nearly 20% plus of GDP, there is focus increasingly on value rather than volume. Why the U.S. market is irresistible for medical exporters. The sheer volume of the $3.5 trillion expenditure is the primary draw. This massive spending is driven by a complex mix of factors, including high service prices, an aging population, prevalence of chronic diseases, high utilization of specialized medical technologies, and a fee-for-service reimbursement model. For international companies, this translates into a perpetually high demand for cost-effective, high-quality medical supplies and pharmaceuticals. For manufacturers of PPE, the market demand has only been amplified since the global pandemic. The need for a robust and resilient supply chain for masks, gloves, gowns, and other protective gear remains critically high. Hospitals, clinics, nursing homes, and even non-medical sectors are constantly seeking reliable sources, making the U.S. a deep and consistent buyer. Similarly, the market for medical devices, ranging from simple diagnostic tools to complex surgical equipment, is constantly evolving and integrating new technologies. U.S. healthcare providers are generally early adopters of advanced medical technology, creating a lucrative environment for cutting-edge manufacturers. The over-the-counter, OTC drug product segment is equally attractive. Americans spend billions annually on non-prescription medications for everything from pain relief and coughs to vitamins and supplements. A successful OTC product launch in the U.S. can quickly generate exponential revenue growth due to the size of the consumer base and efficient retail distribution networks. Given this enormous, consistent, and growing demand, the decision to export medical products to the U.S. market is not merely opportunistic, it's a sound strategic business move aimed at capturing a significant portion of the world's largest healthcare budget. The gateway to market entry, FDA compliance. While the allure of the $3.5 trillion market is strong, the gateway to entry is strictly controlled by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA. The FDA is the federal agency responsible for protecting the public health by ensuring the safety, efficacy, and security of human and veterinary drugs, biological products, cosmetics, and medical devices. Over 20,000 prescription drug products are approved for marketing, while there are about 257,000 different types of medical devices on the U.S. market. For international firms, navigating the FDA's regulatory framework is the mandatory first step and the most critical barrier to entry. Failing to comply means your products will not be legally allowed on the market, regardless of their quality or the market's need. The FDA requires two fundamental actions from foreign manufacturers: establishment registration and product listing. Mandatory Step 1. Establishment registration. Establishment registration is the process by which a manufacturer informs the FDA of the location of their facility. This is mandatory for virtually all foreign and domestic companies that manufacture, repack, or relabel medical devices, including PPE and OTC drug products that will be distributed in the U.S. Who must register? Manufacturers, initial distributors, and some processors must register their establishments. For foreign companies, the registration process requires the designation of a U.S. agent. This agent acts as a local point of contact between the FDA and the foreign establishment and is required to be physically located in the United States. The FDA will not complete a registration or provide a registration number, FEI number, until a company such as ITB Holdings LLC confirms it has agreed to serve as the U.S. agent for a foreign facility or establishment. When to register? Registration is an annual requirement typically performed between October 1st and December 31st each year. First-time registrants must complete this step before they can list their products. The establishment registration process provides the FDA with a clear line of sight to the manufacturing source, which is crucial for monitoring quality and facilitating recalls or inspections if necessary. It is the official acknowledgement that your manufacturing site is known to the U.S. regulatory body. Mandatory Step 2. Product listing. Following the establishment registration, the next mandatory step is product listing. This involves providing the FDA with detailed information about every specific product being exported to the U.S. market. For medical devices, including PPE, product listing requires providing information such as the product's classification, the proprietary name, the medical device listing number, and information related to any pre-market submission, such as a 510(k) clearance or a pre-market approval, PMA, that may be required for that specific device type. Simple PPE, such as certain surgical masks or examination gloves, may be considered Class 1 or Class 2 devices and must still be listed. For OTC drug products, listing for drugs requires submission of the National Drug Code, NDC, for each formulation, dosage form, and packaging configuration. The FDA needs to know the ingredients, labeling, and other key details to ensure the product meets U.S. standards for safety and effectiveness. product listing is the FDA's mechanism for maintaining an accurate inventory of all devices and drugs legally available for commercial distribution in the U.S. It enables the agency to track the flow of products, monitor for safety issues, and effectively manage public health concerns. Strategic compliance. Beyond the basics. While registration and listing are the minimum entry requirements, successful and sustained operation in the U.S. market requires a comprehensive commitment to good manufacturing practice, GMP. For medical devices, this is enforced through the FDA's Quality System Regulation, QSR, which governs the methods, facilities, and controls used in designing, manufacturing, packaging, labeling, storing, installing, and servicing medical devices. For drugs, compliance with current good manufacturing practice, CGMP, is mandatory. Ignoring these quality requirements carries severe risks, including product detention, import bans, seizure, and the eventual loss of the ability to operate in the lucrative U.S. market. The strategic exporter, therefore, views FDA compliance not as a mere bureaucratic hurdle, but as an investment in product quality, brand reputation, and long-term market access. The $3.5 trillion U.S. healthcare expenditure is a magnetic force for global medical manufacturers. It represents unparalleled revenue potential in a single national market. However, accessing this wealth is a privilege earned through rigorous adherence to U.S. regulatory standards. By successfully completing the mandatory FDA establishment registration and product listing, and by committing to sustained quality compliance, international companies can unlock a share of the world's most financially significant healthcare market.